He sat up on the corner of Maple and Fifth like he always did. Same cracked sidewalk, same guitar with a worn fretboard, same beat-up stool that wobbled if he leaned too far to the left. Every Saturday he came early. Before the barbecue truck started smoking up the street. Before the crowd from the farmer's market filled the sidewalks. He liked the quiet hour before the noise started, when his strings were the first sound the city heard waking up. He tuned by ear like he always had. The open E buzzed a little, but close enough. He played slow blues at first, testing his fingers against the cool morning air. A few people passed, nodding or dropping $1. He didn't expect much, didn't need much. Music had been part of his life for so long that stopping felt like stopping breath. He finished a tune and started into another, something mid-tempo, a groove that rolled easy. That's when the family stopped. The father had a paper plate of ribs from the truck down the block. The mother held a stroller, pushing it back and forth to quiet the baby inside. And standing beside them, a little boy, maybe 6, maybe 7, stared up at him motionless. The man nodded to the boy and kept playing. After a few bars, the boy grinned. Then he started moving. Not dancing exactly, just rocking side to side. Then came the shoulders, then the arms. He was offbeat, but all joy. The mother laughed. The father joined in, tapping the plate with one finger. When the song ended, the mother said, "Little Kelvin never likes music, but he loves yours." The musician smiled. "Then Kelvin's got good taste." They laughed and left. He looked down into the case, a few wrinkled dollars, a handful of coins, and not much. He sighed and sat back on the stool. The wind shifted, carrying the smell of smoke and coleslaw. He looked down the street. People walking by, not even turning their heads. He played another song, but halfway through, his fingers slowed. The chords felt heavier than usual. He stopped, stared at the ground for a long time, then said quietly, "Maybe I'm done." He packed up the guitar, closed the case, and walked home. The next morning, the phone rang while he was making coffee. "Hey man, this is Derek from the lounge. You still playing?" "Yeah, sometimes." "We got an opening tonight. Our regular guy's sick. You in?" He hesitated, then said, "Sure." That night, he walked into a dim, crowded club. Tables packed tight, candles flickering. He sat up in the corner near the bar. The first set went fine. The crowd talked through most of it, but the owner seemed happy. After the last song, the bartender handed him an envelope. "Nice work," she said. He opened it when he got home. It was more than he'd ever made in a week of busking. The next night, another call, then another. A private party, a restaurant, a corporate dinner. He bought new strings, a clean jacket, and shoes that didn't squeak. He started calling himself Marcus Ray on the flyers. It sounded smoother than his real name. At first it felt good. People shook his hand. Bartenders called him Sir. He didn't worry about tips anymore. But something was missing. The music had to fit the mood. Background only, nothing too raw. He played soft jazz versions of songs he used to love, cutting out the bends and growls that gave them life. The crowds barely looked up. Sometimes he'd finish a song and realize no one had noticed he'd stopped. He told himself it didn't matter. He was working. He was paid. Still, when he got home and set the guitar down, his hands felt empty. One Friday night, he had a gig at a downtown hotel ballroom. Corporate party, suits, champagne, quiet laughter. He was halfway through a set when he saw them. The same family. The mother looked the same, maybe a little more tired. The father wore a new suit. And the boy, Kelvin, sat at the table between them, poking at his food, eyes down. The musician blinked. For a second, the street corner came back to him. The boy dancing, the parents laughing. He kept playing, but his mind wasn't on the notes. When the set ended, he walked over. "Hey," he said, "you're the folks from Maple and Fifth, right?" The father squinted, then his face lit up. "Yeah, you're that guitarist from the street. Wow, I didn't know you played corporate gigs." The musician shrugged, trying something new. The man smiled. "Kelvin loved your other stuff. Think you could play one of those songs here?" He looked around the room. People drinking, talking. checking phones. Nah, he said. They just want background music here. Nobody's listening. Too bad, the father said. Kelvin's getting kinda antsy tonight. The musician looked down at the boy. Kelvin didn't smile, didn't move, just stared at the tablecloth like he wanted to be anywhere else. Something twisted in the musician's chest. He went back to the stage, played another set, but the sound felt thin. When the gig ended, he packed up and left before anyone could stop him. The next morning, his phone rang again. A big job this time. A weekend retreat, double pay. He looked at the phone, then said, "You know what? I already got a gig." And he hung up, grabbed his old guitar and the scratched one with the tape on the neck, and walked back to Maple and Fifth. The street was the same. Food trucks setting up, kids running around. He sat on the stool, tuned up, and started to play. The sound wasn't perfect. The high E buzzed. His fingers slipped once or twice. But the sound was alive. People turned their heads again. A couple stopped. The man from the food truck called over. "Where you been, man?" "Been missing you." The musician smiled. "Been finding myself." He looked down at the case and a few dollars, some coins, nothing special, and he kept playing. After a while, a little girl came up and started clapping. Her mother joined in. A few people gathered. He played another tune, one of the old ones, the kind you could feel in your chest more than your ears. For the first time in months, he felt like himself again. He nodded at the crowd, at the street, at the noise of life all around him. "Yeah," he said quietly, "I'm back home."